Hello, Mzansi. Welcome to another episode of Farmers Inside Track. My name is Duncan Masiwa, and I'm your host with this very special episode out in the Bundes again, all the way in Klerksdorp, Northwest. And I am joined by an animal scientist, a cattle insemination expert, a livestock consultant, a sheep farmer. What are you not? She's, of course, Mosa Balesamang.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
You got it.
Balesamang. Lovely having you here with us. Welcome to Farmers Inside Track.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. You're all the way from Botswana.
I am.
Geez, lovely having a Botswana farmer on our podcast. Not a fair question, perhaps, but what is the difference between what farming looks like in Botswana versus what it looks like in South Africa?
First and foremost, this is the place we go for when we look for bulls. Yeah, so we could already establish that in terms of genetic superiority.
Yeah.
We always look for farmers such as South African farmers when we want to improve our breeding systems here in Botswana. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
So which came first? Was it the animal scientist, the sheep farmer, the cattle insemination expert? Which came first?
I think what came first was being a farmer's daughter.
Ah.
Yeah, and then that just made way to animal science, which gave way to sheep farming, which gave way to consultancy. So, yeah, it was sort of predestined.
So the daughter of a farmer. Take us back through that journey. What was life like on the farm?
Oh, we didn't quite grow on the farm, but every school holiday meant the farm. And at that time, it sounded like punishment or painful. Or I don't want to go to the dirt. Look at me. How many years later? And me wanting to grow a family, an empire, carrying on with the generation. Because I'm a third generational farmer. So now I want to continue with the legacy and I want to see my children or my family grow in the farm. So I'm like... funny. Look at how what I once despised is now what I live and breathe.
That's quite interesting. What do you think? What is that? Is it that you were exposed to farming all your life growing up? Is it what do you think is it that eventually draws one back to what you've always known, I suppose?
Would it be too cliched if I say it's something that's in my blood. So if I'm the farmer's daughter, then I should be, not by nature, I should be a farmer. But it also is a way of maybe how I saw what we did at the farm.
Oh.
And I sort of identified a gap. And I was like, but if we do it like this, maybe we would make money as, well, inspiration will always come to South Africa. Look at how these South African farmers are going.
Yeah.
What if we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Wouldn't we get to be on the same level as them? Yeah. So I think that's what pushed me to being an animal scientist.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if I come now with qualifications. Because my dad, he'd be like, yeah, I hear you. You give us suggestions. He'd be like, yeah, no, I hear you. 10 years later, we're still on the same space. So I thought now coming with expert advice, and it worked. It worked. Yes. Expert advice was something that he takes very, very to consideration.
Yeah. So I would imagine having you now gone to university to study animal science, bringing that knowledge and experience and expertise back to the farm. How has the farm significantly shaped or transformed since you have now actively, I suppose, become involved?
Yeah, well, with the farming, I think it's a game of numbers. So for it to make sense, you have to push numbers. Previously, sustainable farming, sustainability in farming was not a thing. But then when you now talk to my dad, you're like, Papa, I suggest we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I heard at school they were saying if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then that would happen. But also just hella the motivation that I give him and he gives me, gives a sort of a symbiotic relationship going forward. So if I suggest a certain breed of sheep, he would pay attention because he knows that I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Speaking about breed of sheep, what exactly is it that you have on the farm?
We recently introduced a breed called L de France. Yes, but previously it has been a black-headed Dorper, which is very common in Botswana because of how hardy it is. But I wanted to introduce the L de France also because the mothers are they have feminine traits. They're very good mothers, very good milk quality, and the weaning weights are very, very, very high. So I wanted to cross that with the doper quality of meat and also just its weight capability. I wanted to merge the two so that I can have a breed that is dual in terms of mothering and meat production.
Yeah. And you're already starting to see the change?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am. This is the current kidding period would give way to the third generation of my crosses. Yes.
Jeez, that's impressive.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about markets, because now you have this new breeding, I suppose, strategy. How does that now affect your markets? Does the market favor you better? How does that influence?
What I've realized is the market is what you make of it. So with me, I leverage off of social media and education. Also with my background, I usually give farm advice, farming tips, because I'm also a mentor. As I said, I'm a consultant. So I usually just give expert advice. That is also a marketing strategy for me. So when I say I have this breed, you trust it because you've seen how I do things. I document all of my farming practices. I document them. Even my farming consultancies, I document them so that the whole social media community is like a family. So when I say I have this sheep, it's ready now for market. The shares do the work. Now everybody wants to know how this meat tastes. If I get this mother to my crawl, is it going to improve how I've been doing things? So social media has really helped me with market access.
I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of farmers, they come with a world's experience, but they somehow struggle to tap into the consultancy side of it. What has that journey been like for you? And I suppose, how did it start?
With me being a youth and a woman in farming, all of those were an advantage to me. So when I go to the farm, from waking up, and my brother hates this, when I take the phone, so like, hi guys, come with me to the farm. Oh, he loathes it. Oh, my days. I do that, but he doesn't see the bigger picture. I do. So that's how it started. Just grab a phone, document the farm. Let's do this. Today we're milking. Today we're dehorning. I am documenting every single thing.
He's probably thinking, do you have to document everything?
That's his exact question. He suggested I stay off social media. It's like, it won't work, brother. It's my money. So that's what happened. So how it started was that just grabbing a phone and documenting the whole thing with me. When I was at 2 weeks or 3, people started rolling in questions. If I have this kind of breed, if I have this problem at the farm, if I have I was like, this can be monetized. Let's try and offer this advice, but at a cost. But also with the backing of an animal science degree and as artificial insemination certificate, I can offer expert advice. So now I have to make money out of it. So that's how the consultancy was birthed. I called it Murui Itute. In Botswana, that's what translates to that a farmer must learn. Yes, so that's basically what I do of Murui Itute. I just share expert advice with the documentation of my farm.
Yes, a farmer must learn. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Your experience in the agricultural sector obviously stems back to your childhood. And then being involved with your farmers, farm production. What is it like being a woman farmer in Botswana?
Now, so much better than 5 years back when I tried to get into it. You meet a lot of restriction because you're a woman. You meet a lot of restriction now because you are a youth as well. So you try and advise a 60-year-old man, what can you possibly tell him that's new? So you get a lot of those questions. But farming is dynamic as well as science. Science is dynamic. So farming being an agricultural science, it's very dynamic. The medicines that were used 10 years back have gained resistance now. The pathogens have gained resistance now. A lot of research has been going on. Now we have new medicines in the market. But our fathers can't listen to that. But we keep trying and trying and trying. What helped me as a woman, as a young woman in farming, was consistency and just I've sculpted in Botswana a brand where you associate that with farming excellence. Yes.
Very important.
So that's what helped me.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned farming excellence. What does farming excellence look like on your farm? What are some of the strategies that you swear by that contributes to your success?
I tend to partner with the environment. Yes. So there's a saying that you don't have to stomp onto the ground, but you need to glide with it. You need to walk with it.
Don't stomp.
Glide.
Glide.
So that's what basically that means is you need to work with your environment. So to me, that is something that's very substantial. We need to be what you call this? People who take care of an environment, people who advocate for its sustainability. So in my farm, I do a lot of minimum disturbance to the natural ecosystem. My sheep are free range and they are on minimal supplementations because where we are is a grassland savanna and sheep are grazers. So they tend to stay in a certain period for a certain period of time before they can move. So that is being in partnership with the environment. So they give that environment the time to recover while they've gone to the other side. So also as an animal scientist, I feel it's my duty to spread that message, to be that responsible, have that integrity of being a custodian. That's the word I was looking for earlier. A custodian of our environment. Yeah. Yes.
So as we glide out of this interview, what is your advice for a young farmer listening to you right now?
As a young farmer, you get a mentor. I have two. You get a mentor, you go and you knock. You're going to get a lot of no's. You're going to get a lot of question marks. You're going to be doubted. You're going to be questioned and looked down upon. But if you know, the dream must burn. It must burn brighter than all of those no's, all of those maybes, all of those questions. It must burn brighter. It must bother you. If you don't do anything going toward that dream every day, it should burn inside of you. If you're sleeping, you wake up and then you like write something down like, I read of a breed now. I know a breed today that I didn't know previously. So just what I'm basically saying is work towards your dream every single day.
Yeah, work towards your dream every single day. And make sure that whatever the naysayers are saying, that your dream shines brighter than what they are saying. That's Mosa Balesamang, a farmer all the way from Botswana. That brings us to the end of this episode. Make sure that you visit our platform, our podcast, and any of your favorite platforms. And be sure to read the article on this episode on foodfromzansi.co.za. From me, Duncan Masiwa, our technical producer, Megan van der Vent, and the rest of #Team Food from Zanzi. As always, thanks for listening.